October 8th, the Mets began their second season in Houston against the Astros. To a man, the team was confident yet cautious, considering they were facing an Astro pitching staff that had been nearly unbeatable the last month of the season. The Mets, though, had been waiting for this night for a long time, and with the Astros and their fans equally as excited, the series was set to begin. Mike Scott was on the mound for the Astros. The ace of Houston's staff quickly showed the Mets just why he led the league in strikeouts during the year. Scott's split-fingered fastball was almost unhittable, and he took the sting out of the Mets' vaunted attack by striking out 14 in a tense 1-0 win over Dwight Gooden. Down a game, the Mets were keenly aware of just how disastrous a loss would be in Game 2, especially pitcher Bob Ojeda.
I was thinking a win's pretty important right about now. I think on days like that, on days when we were heading against the wall, we weren't against it yet, every one of us reached back for maybe a little bit extra.
A breaking ball tapped out in front. Runners coming. Ojeda tags him himself. Got him on the head.
Ojeda's play kept the Astros from scoring first, and the way Nolan Ryan was pitching, that was important.
The first 3 innings, he shut us down again, and he was looking tough. And then the guys, just a little chip in the armor, and the guys, came through.
This ball hit into right center field. It's deep right center. It is off of the wall. Backman held at second. Now coming around. He comes on in. The throw gets away in the infield as Gary Carter gets his first hit of the series.
Just a tremendous sigh, like, there. Now we're okay. We broke the ice. And then went out and we got 3 the next inning as well, with 2 outs.
Line to right center field. It'll be extra base hit. Just on by the diving Hatcher. 2 runs to score. Hernandez on his way to third. And the throw to third base does not come off as Hernandez triples to drive in 2 more.
The Mets' bats had exploded for 5 runs in 2 innings. And with Ojeda keeping the Astros off balance all night long, Game 2 belonged to the Mets 5-1. And the series was even at 1 apiece. By winning a game in the Dome, the Mets had accomplished what they'd set out to do, and as they made their way back to New York, they were extremely confident that the series would end at Shea.
Subways are New York's circulatory system. And while they are crowded and noisy and sometimes dirty, they remain the quickest way to get to work or school or even a baseball game. This weekend, the big train is the number 7, which begins its journey under Times Square in Manhattan. It then travels under the East River through the Steinway tunnels, which were built for trolley cars by William Steinway, the Piano King, in 1892. The twin tunnels were converted to subway use by August Belmont in 1902.
You can't beat the trains. You can't beat the trains better than going through traffic. Best in the world to the train to the game. Number 7 line to me.
It's already a legend because it does not wear the wretched raiment of graffiti. It has beaten the Day-Glow pencil.
You have everything. Air conditioning in summertime and in wintertime, nice and heat. That's the best train we can have in the whole United States.
The number 7 train runs under and over an international group of neighborhoods with old names like Woodside, Jackson Heights, Elmhurst, Corona, and Flushing. In them, you will find Asians and Indians, Irish, Italians, Jews and Hispanics, an ethnic mix strong and ever-changing and ever-mixing. This benefits a line that has serviced 2 World's Fairs during its eventful history. All of this mix makes up Queens, the largest of New York's 5 boroughs and the home of the Mets. The number 7 train connects these neighborhoods and in the summertime takes people out to the ball game.
Well, there you have it. A different way to get to the ballpark than you'll find in Houston or other cities in this country. And while the New York subway system may not be as elegant as those in Moscow and Paris, say, in Paris, the subways can't take you to the ball game, can they? And that's what we're doing right now. Once again, here's Keith Jackson.
Jack, thank you very much. Though they are talking about having some baseball played in the Soviet Union, maybe one of these days the Moscow subways will haul you to the ballpark too. I think we should talk just a little bit about the weather, though, because there is rain forecast for Monday. They think, we know we'll get this one in today in 50-degree temperature. Tomorrow, possibility of some light rain because it's an evening game, but Monday, every weatherman in town seems to be dead firm that it's going to rain.
And if it's going to be rain, it's going to be a cold rain.
That's right. The teams are about ready to make their appearance on the field. Let's first off check the batting order for the Houston Astros, and they will show a little bit of a change today in that Bill Doran goes to the top of the order. He's 1 out of 8 in the playoff series 2 games. Batting number 2 and playing center field will be Billy Hatcher. He's 1 of 8. Denny Walling back at third base with the right-hander pitching for the Mets. He's 0 for 4. Glenn Davis, the first baseman, hits cleanup. He has the home run that won the first game for them. Kevin Bass stays in right field and bats number 5. Hitting number 6, left fielder Jose Cruz, 2 of 8 in the series. And catching Alan Ashby, 1 for 1 as a left-handed hitter. He'll be on the left side today. Batting number 8, it'll be the shortstop Craig Reynolds, also a left-handed hitter, and he was 2 for 3 with Bob Knepper on the mound. Now, Bob Knepper is not a gimme at the plate. He has a couple of doubles and a triple on this season. Now the Mets are in place defensively. Outside, Kevin Mitchell is in left field today with Mookie Wilson moving over to center. Darryl Strawberry in right. Keith Hernandez at first base. Tim Tuffle goes in at second base today instead of Wally Backman. Santana remains at short for the Mets, and Knight stays over at third with Gary Carter back at the plate and Ron Darling doing the pitching. And before we get ready to go, let's spend a moment with Tim McCarver as he talked with Kevin Bass, the colorful right fielder for the Houston Astros. Here's their conversation.
All right, Kevin, we made the deal the other day about the shoes, and I just wanted you to know that I've kept my end of the bargain with Shoe Trees. That's with Shoe Trees. Oh, okay, so now your end of the bargain, the Sammy Davis Jr.
The Sammy Davis, man? I mean, like, you're just a real cool cat, man, for doing this for me. I mean that. I really do. And I just want to thank all the people in New York, man, because it's just been a really gas of a time for me. You know what I mean, man?
I can dig it, babe.
I know you can, because I can't. Hey, I really thank you for these. These are nice.
You're welcome.
What do you pay about? $90 for these?
Oh, we won't get into that. Thanks a million.
All right.
How about Keith Jackson? One more time. Yes.
Okay, here we are, everybody. We're here at the LCS playoffs, and I'm Keith Jackson along with my co-host, Tim McCarver. What do you got to say about that, Tim? And we'll be back in a moment.
Oh, me. Another one.
You gotta love it. Here I am without shoes up here.
Bill Doran has come to the plate. Quick question, Tim, with a movement in the lineup defensively for the Mets. Tuffle at second base, Wilson going to center, and Mitchell into left. What does it do defensively?
Well, I think the Mets are weakened at second base because of the limited range of Tim Tuffle and the limited range of Kevin Mitchell in left field. They are weaker defensively, but as strong offensively.
First pitch of the ball game by Ron Darling is on the outside corner, a fastball for called strike 1. Doran, remember, was taken out of the leadoff spot, shoots it to the right side. Big gravy bounce for Hernandez, flips it over to Darling covering, and the leadoff man is out 3-1. Doran finally getting over that pulled groin pull, now has the physical health to go back into the leadoff spot. Watch the hop here.
Not as tough a hop because the hop occurred a long ways away from Hernandez and gave him an opportunity to adjust to it.
They play on Mother Earth here at Shea Stadium. No rug here. Mickey Hatcher, who batted in the cleanup spot the first 2 games of the series. Billy Hatcher is up there now, 1 of 8, 125. And he is not the most patient guy in town when it comes to taking pitches. He likes to jump on that first pitch, particularly if it is a fastball. The wind seems to be blowing straight in, but you never know. That's banged over the pitcher's mound, out into center field. Tuffle made a run at it and couldn't flag it. And so Hatcher now hitting in the number 2 spot has a base hit, a bouncing single to center. Now Danny Walling, dangerous hitter.
And an interesting confrontation between Ron Darling with one of the best right-handed pitchers' pickoff moves in the National League, and Billy Hatcher, a man who will run. Darling with very quick feet.
He'll make a couple of different motions to you. Out of the stretch, he'll put the ball in the glove, and after the set, he'll oftentimes just turn almost automatically and throw to first base. This time he comes to the plate, and Walling fouls it away on the left side. You got to watch his feet. I think that's the key to Darling.
Very, very quick feet. They were so quick, as a matter of fact, he played defensive half at Yale University for 2 years. Defensive back for Yale, and also played shortstop until his junior year when he became a pitcher.
He's a native son of Hawaii, Honolulu, but actually grew up and went to high school in Worcester, Mass. And that's how he got over to Yale. Hatcher goes. Pitch. Good pitch to throw on. Carter fires it down, and he's safe. That pitch was up and out and gave Carter a good set position for the throw, but Hatcher just burned it.
You have heard of acceleration starting off, but Billy Hatcher had acceleration finishing up. He looked to be out, and that last burst of speed right before the slide and the straight end slide, and Rafael Santana did not apply a quick tag, kind of a slow tag there.
Walling loops one to right. It's going to drop for a base hit. Hatcher turns. He's coming home. Strawberry whips it back in, and it's too late. And Houston gets the lead 1-0 as Walling drives in Hatcher from second base. And there's the aggressiveness of the Houston Astros surfacing early in this ball game.
And that's something that they have not done in the previous 2 games, even though they did win the 1-0 game. We talked about that tag of Rafael Santana. And it's up to a shortstop or a second baseman when they do get a good throw to make a quick tag. And Santana did not make a quick tag on that throw by Carter.
He also took care not to put that hand down, and with the spikes coming in too, which may have cost him the out. Glenn Davis, 31 home runs on the regular season, hit the home run off Dwight Gooden to beat the Mets 1-0 in the opening game. The pitch outside and coming to the backstop, and Walling moves on down to second base.
Here's that tag again on Billy Hatcher. You see Santana coming down slowly and actually misses his foot.
Yep.
I think you're right, Keith. Had he come right down on the foot, and that glove is wedged between the foot and the base, and Hatcher's out of there.
He figured he might need 2 or 3 of those fingers on that hand before the day is over. Wild pitch is charged to Darling on the advance of Walling, and Davis is up there now with a 2-ball and no strike count. Even though the feeling up here is the wind is blowing in and the flag is showing that as well, it's not necessarily the case because the wind swirls around inside this horseshoe-like structure. Outside corner, ball strike. 2-1 on Davis. A look at Walling at second, and inside corner this time on Davis, and your count is 2-2. He's moving it in and out. And remember, he too can throw the split-fingered fastball, but will not throw it with the speed of a fellow like a Mike Scott.
That's the difference between Ron Darling this year and years past. His split-finger fastball, and I would expect that Davis will get that on this count.
Hit him. It was a split-fingered fastball, but he did not have control of it, and Glenn Davis, twisting away, took the ball on the left shoulder, and you've got 2 Astros aboard with 1 out.
Something that may have something to do with this is the weather. It is 52 degrees, as Keith said, and Darling was blowing on his hands. Umpires have given the pitchers permission, obviously, to blow on their hands, so the reaction of Darling appeared to reveal, I said the pitcher's position, the umpire's permission to blow on the hands.
Kevin Bass steps in now with Walling out at second base, Davis at first base, and Darling is in with a strike to start him. Just inside. The left fielder playing him straight away. The center fielder, Wilson, is shading him toward right center. Big hole out there in left center. Foul at the plate.
Yeah, and usually when your center fielder moves, he'll take the outfielder with him. But as you can see, Kevin Mitchell is playing Bass like a right-handed hitter, a shade to pull. Now you see Wilson moving to a little bit more of a straightaway position because of the count. There's Kevin Mitchell, who started 28 games in left field this year. Mookie Wilson a little more straightaway because of the count. Hitters are less inclined to pull the ball with 2 strikes.
And your count is 1-2 on Kevin Bass. With 1 out, a run in, and 2 on. And that's foul left side. Strike 3. Breaking pitch, looking inside corner. Bass beats at Frank Pulley a bit, the home plate umpire today, but walks away the second out.
Bass, I assume, thought this ball was low. And there's that split finger fastball. And I think Kevin's got a pretty good complaint. That ball did appear to be low.
He seems to turn it a bit inside to that left-handed hitter, too. The ball seemed to have that kind of movement on it. With 2 down, here is Jose Cruz. And that's a strike. Kevin having a good longing look, I think, back up at home plate. 1 strike on Cruz. The gap remains left center field for him. And he goes the other way into the hole at shortstop, into left field for a base hit. Here comes Walling around third, and he will score. It's 2-0 Houston. So the stolen base by Hatcher, and if you will, the timid and or late tag by Santana at second base on the throw by Carter. Walling knocked him in, and now Cruz has delivered Walling.
This ball grounded to the right of Rafael Santana, and it had some punch on it too. Kevin Mitchell, playing moderately deep, had no play at Dennis Walling, whereas in the dome he probably would have had a play because the ball would have gotten to him a lot quicker. Ball does not carry through this grass very fast.
Alan Ashby, the Houston catcher, is now up. The Astros jumping out to a 2-0 lead, and Darling goes outside with a pitch. Glenn Davis, second base, throw back on him. They got him. Glenn Davis ambling along, I don't think expecting movement from Darling. I told you to watch his feet. He's quick out there.
Well, that's the daylight play. He was awfully quick and just getting Glenn Davis at second base. When the pitcher sees daylight between the shortstop and the runner at second, he wheels and throws blindly to the bag, and they nail Davis.
But the Houston Astros put 2 runs on the scoreboard in the top of the first. The Mets coming up. Shea Stadium in New York, the home of the Mets. And we're scheduled for 3 in the National League Championship Series here at Shea. This batting order for the New York Mets now, and this will be a little different than you saw in the first 2 games. Mookie Wilson will be leading off, playing center field. Mookie is 1 of 8 so far in the 2 ball games. Kevin Mitchell on the year in his first start today in the series, batting second, 277. Keith Hernandez hitting third, the first baseman. Gary Carter batting cleanup, the catcher, 1 of 9. Darryl Strawberry in right field, hitting fifth, 1 of 7. Ray Knight batting number 6. He's 1 for 7 so far. Number 7 hitter is Tim Tuffle, his first start, 247 on the season. Santana, the shortstop, batting 8, and the pitcher, Ron Darling. Darling on the year had 8 hits and 81 at bats. And up at the plate, Wilson from the right side as Knepper comes in with a strike. Knepper was 3-1 against New York this year. He had 4 starts. His career against the Mets, lifetime 11-11. That's a foul ball, and ricochets up into the crowd.
Bob was also the first pitcher to shut out the Mets this year. He beat them 3-0, and then less than 48 hours later came back and beat the Mets in relief.
He went around, and Mookie Wilson will go in the book as a strikeout for the first out of the ball game for the Mets. Kevin Mitchell will come to the plate now. Defensively for Houston, outside it's Cruz, Hatcher, Bass. Inside it's Davis, Doran, Reynolds, Walling, Ashby back at the plate, and Knepper on the mound. The umpires today, Frank Pulley calling the balls and strikes. Dutch Rennet at first, Joe West second, Fred Brocklander third, Doug Harvey left field line, and Lee Wire right field line. Kevin Mitchell, another one of the players who profited from the philosophy of Davy Johnson. Fine athlete, but you got so many sometimes it's hard to find a place for them to play. But he found a place for this young man from San Diego who hits a high towering pop that goes foul and back in the crowd. He even tried him at shortstop during the course of the year.
He was the only player in the major leagues to play 6 positions this year, and the first player in big league ball to play 6 positions since Alan Bannister did it for the Texas Rangers back in 1984.
He had 43 runs batted in on the year and hit 12 home runs. The count on Mitchell, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bounce to the shortstop, Reynolds. Nice easy bounce for Craig, and he throws him out 2 down. Now Keith Hernandez. As though there's leadership in a lot of places on this New York Met ball club. If you want to single out one man, you're looking at it. The bell count.
Well, the intensity that Hernandez brings to this club was at a type of intensity that this ball club simply did not have before he arrived, and has had since he arrived.
He was a thundercloud the other night in his disagreement over the called strike with Doug Harvey. Knepper comes inside for ball 1. That ball is hit to Davis. Davis will do it himself. And so Knepper gets the New York Mets in order in the bottom of the first inning, and after 1 inning of play at Shea Stadium, it's 1-0 Houston. 2-0.
Your attention, please. Alan Hatcher.
Astros scoring twice in the top of the first inning on 3 base hits, and a stolen base by Hatcher figured very prominently in the 2 runs. Now we go to the bottom third of the order for Alan Ashby, Craig Reynolds, and the pitcher Bob Knepper. Ron Darling pitching with a record of 15-6 on the season with a 2.8 earned run average. 1-1 versus the Astros in 4 starts in the past season.
Well, Ron Darling is going along a familiar and dangerous path of falling behind the hitters.
2-1 now to Alan Ashby.
One of the big reasons that Davy Johnson and Ron Darling have had a, I guess you could call it a quasi feud going on this season, is because Darling upsets Davy Johnson when he's working because he falls behind a lot of hitters. Davy channels it and funnels it right through pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre.
Bouncing ball for Tuffle, and his first play in the series results in a put out at first base on Ashby. Bring up Craig Reynolds.
Number 12. Shortstop, Craig Reynolds.
Reynolds was 2 for 3 in the opening game against Dwight Gooden. Native son of Houston, stayed at home and is having his career there. Very popular in Houston. Curve is in low. I can see why David Johnson would have a bit of a nervous stomach sometimes with Darling constantly being behind, and he has been so far in this game.
The results are often good, but it's getting to those results that give managers bad stomachs.
He's now behind 2 balls and no strikes. Ball 4. So he's hit a man, and now he has walked a man. He has been touched for 3 hits. Hernandez to the mound to talk to him. And Knepper coming to the plate.
Houston,
he also has had a wild pitch in the ball game.
Bob Knepper.
Keith Hernandez going to talk to Darling, and he told him one of 3 things. Give me a chance to charge, count 1001 and throw home, or I'll charge and then come back to the bag. And the third thing, when I charge, step off. And the last 2 is to prevent that runner from running. So evidently it was he took 1 step forward, held his ground, and he threw over there.
Knepper turns to punt, puts it down, and it's foul at the plate.
See, the good base runners will break when Hernandez breaks, but Hernandez, after every bunt attempt, will go out and talk to his pitcher and tell him the one of 3 things. If you don't have something to combat or defense against, then the runner will take off with Hernandez and go ahead and steal second. You won't need to bunt.
Hernandez comes, Reynolds goes, pitch is swung on, and a fly ball lifted out into short left field for Kevin Mitchell. And you got 2 down as Reynolds comes back to first base.
And you saw Craig Reynolds, even though that was the hit and run play, you saw Craig Reynolds take off when Keith Hernandez took off.
Second baseman Bill Doran.
Bill Doran, top of the order now, up for the 2nd time. Grounded out to first base, his first time up. And he hits the ball well. Going deep to right center field. It's gone. A 2-run home run by Bill Doran, and it's 4-0 Houston.
Well, Frankie Frisch embedded in baseball people's mind that cliche and saying a long time ago, oh, those bases on balls.
He got all of this one.
Sometimes a walk is better than what happened here, but a walk led to the home run by Doran. He was looking for a fastball and hit it a ton.
Hatcher drills one to left field. And Mitchell picks it up, runs it back in, and so the Astros are jumping all over Ron Darling here early on. And Mel Stottlemyre is quickly out of the dugout on his way to the mound for the Mets.
A fastball on the slight outer part of the plate, just off the middle of the plate, and Bill Doran looking for it all the way, hits it to right center. Not to return.
5 hits now off Ron Darling, and a 4-0 lead for Houston. Danny Walling, who singled his first time up, a looper to right, advanced to second on a wild pitch, and then scored on Jose Cruz single. Creeping off, and the pitch is outside. Ball 1. Aguilera, Rick Aguilera, is up now in the New York Mets bullpen, loosening up. He may get an early call. Runner goes. Carter's throw. Hatcher's 2 for 2. He beat Darling on that stolen base.
And watch Denny Walling take this pitch. Watch how he kind of leans out over the plate. He's taking all the way, and he leans out over the plate, thereby impeding with the throw of Gary Carter. If you have no intent to swing the bat, Hatcher is safe. But I've often contended that that is interference on the part of the hitter. You never get the call if you're a catcher. He was taking that pitch all the way, and there was no reason to duck into Carter the way he did.
That's a prejudiced comment from a catcher.
It could be.
Walling swings and misses and strikes out to end the inning. But The Houston Astros get 2 more, and after an inning and a half, in Game 3, they lead 4-0. And he hits the ball well. Going deep to right center field. It's gone. A 2-run home run by Bill Doran, and it's 4-0 Houston. Middle of the order scheduled for the Mets now. In the bottom of the 2nd inning, they trail 4-0. Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, and Ray Knight. Carter has 1 hit and 9 trips to the plate in the previous 2 games. Bouncing ball to the shortstop, Reynolds, and 1 down. Yogi got as big a cheer almost as anybody when he was introduced, even though he is a coach with the visiting team. Of course, Yogi Berra is cheered everywhere he goes in New York City.
And if the Astros win this playoff series, Yogi will be going to his 22nd World Series.
Darryl Strawberry at the plate with 1 out and nobody on. And Strawberry is often victimized by left-handers, and he starts out taking a pitch high for ball 1. You can see that he has not damaged Bob Knepper this season. That ball is way outside. 2 balls and no strikes. I asked Yogi the other day, what in the world have you done all that money you've collected from all the playoffs and the World Series and everything? And he said, oh no, I'll give it to Carmen. Carmen, his wife, of course.
Carmen's handled it well, too.
Yeah. All right, Knepper, with a man at the plate who has had almost no success against him, goes to 3 balls and no strikes with 1 out. Comes in with the triple and makes it 3-1. Strawberry has 1 hit in 7 at-bats in the first 2 games and fouls back, and now it's a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and there's a souvenir ricocheting down into the crowd. You better watch it around this area too, because the ball will hit the facade and come back down and plunk you. Swings and misses. He struck out on a pitch. It was out of the strike zone.
Well, that's the 5th time that Strawberry has gone down on strikes.
Number 22.
And we mentioned the other night, when you flail at a strike one-handedly, you're not swinging the bat very well. And as you see, Strawberry way out in front of that pitch. 2nd strikeout for Knepper.
Now Ray Knight. He had a hard time in the ball game against Mike Scott. Of course, a lot of folks did. That's where he got his 3 Ks.
A lot of folks would have, too, with bats in their hands.
That does a sharp shot to left field, and the Mets have their first base hit of the ball game. Knepper got it up over the plate. Knight nailed it, and it brings up Tim Tuffle.
Mets, second baseman.
Tuffle on the year had a .247 average, 4 home runs, and 31 runs batted in. Say what?
You got me. I'm not going to comment on that.
Tuffle came over from Minnesota. The winter trade. That ball is hit to the second baseman, Doran, who flips it over to Reynolds, the shortstop, forcing Knight coming down, and the Mets are turned away. But at least they have a base hit now in their scorebook. So after 2, it is 4-0 Houston. That camera belongs to Houston's pitcher Bob Knepper, and obviously he can't be fiddling with it today, but he's passed it off to other folks to keep recording a video history of this championship series and take it home, edit it, and have something to show visitors.
Matter of fact, he got Mike Scott's 1-0 ball game the other night, and also the no-hitter that Mike Scott pitched to clinch the division for the Astros.
Glenn Davis, Kevin Bass, and Jose Cruz for Houston. That's a bouncing ball. Third baseman Ray Knight, long throw, and he gets Davis.
This is a long throw.
Right fielder Kevin Bass.
Ray stepping back. Glenn Davis does run better than a lot of people think, but Ray Knight taking his time and making a strong throw. An easy 5-3 play.
And Kevin Bass, who struck out looking his first time, is now at the plate. A 4-0 Houston lead in the top of the third inning, and Darling is on the outside corner for strike one. You can see there that Kevin has been busy at the bat in the series and has started to hit the ball for distance. Looked pretty feeble on that one, though, as Ron Darling offered him the split-fingered fastball.
Now watch the pitch go down. This is the pitch Bass was called out on his first time up. He's not going to allow Frank Pulley to make another call up there hacking.
Just outside to make it 2-2. The feeling is that Bass probably is capable of 20-25 home runs a year. At least they're hoping so. Close, but it's 3-2. Bass patient, works Darling for a base on balls. That's his second in the ball game, and he's hit a man. And now he'll be pitching to Jose Cruz, who singled into the hole in left his first time up. Bass pretty quick on the bases.
22 stolen bases on the year. 13 times he was caught.
1-1, no, goes back to first base again. So Darling is selling Bass on the idea don't go. The 1-2 pitch to Cruz is high and away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner goes, pitch outside. Carter's throw is high. He stole it. That's 3 stolen bases, 2 by Hatcher, 1 now by Bass, and Bass got a big jump that time.
And you see him turn on that right foot. Carter did not have a good pitch on which to throw. The first 2 times, however, he did. And Bass is in there. You notice the straight in slides. There's really no advantage to hooking into second base when you're trying to steal second.
Now Cruz 3-2. He struck out. He went too far. Frank Pulley called him out right away. He tried to check on it. The pitch was outside, but he had gone through the strike zone with his bat, and you've got 2 down. That's the 3rd strikeout for Darling, and brings to the plate Alan Ashby. Again, the long stroke costing a hitter. He could not check it once he'd started it. And Ashby bounces the ball to Santana at short, throws him out, and Houston strands Kevin Bass. So in the middle of the 3rd inning, game number 3 of the National League Championship Series, it's 4-0 Houston. We'll be back after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
Milk's got the kick that gives you more. Health kick. More nutrition in every pore. Health kick.
Hey, New York, get on my Health Kick. Milk. It's got the power I need for pure energy.
Kick. So get on a Health Kick, let it pour. America's favorite Health Kick. Get on a Health Kick, milk's got more. Have more milk, 'cause milk's got more.
Toughest ticket in town. Getting into Shea Stadium the next 3 days. Rafael Santana, Ron Darling the pitcher, and Mookie Wilson. 3 scheduled hitters, and Darling is out in the on-deck circle, and Knepper comes with a pitch to the outside corner for a called strike on Santana.
Toughest ticket in town for me with getting me up in one of those blimps. I'll tell you. No way.
1-1. Aguilera now has gone quiet in the New York bullpen. So I guess David Johnson and Mel Stottlemyre have decided they're going to stay with Darling for a while. Hard shot to the shortstop. Reynolds handles it well, throws it low, but Davis digs it out.
Here's the next pitcher.
A lot of dogs going to be sold today. And the pitcher, Ron Darling, comes to the plate. 81 at bats, 8 hits, a pair of doubles on the season for him. Slowly in, but good for a strike. Darling majored in French and Southeast Asian history at Yale. His wife speaks a couple of languages, and I understand he's talking about going into studying Chinese language.
And he's also studying Russian this winter at New York University, so they have a corner on the language market.
Little tap. Knepper off the mound, handles it all right, and throws him out. 2 down.
So far today, however, Ronnie's probably wishing that he had a little more English on some of his pitches.
I guess you could talk in whatever language that fitted your feelings on a particular morning, huh?
Right.
Cincinnati jumps out to a 7-0 lead over Penn State. Bit of a surprise, but it's early on. Coming up after our baseball game, some of you will see Miami, Florida, top ranked in the country at West Virginia, or the Texas-Oklahoma shootout at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Here's Mookie Wilson, the top of the order. Mookie struck out swinging his first time up and takes a strike from Knepper. Pulled a string on it, and Wilson stings it to left, but Jose Cruz, getting a good break on the ball, runs it down, and the side is retired in order in the bottom of the 3rd. So after 3, the Houston Astros lead the New York Mets 4-0. We noted before the ball game that Houston hadn't done a whole lot having leadoff men aboard, and Tim McCarver asked Hal Lanier if it had been a bother to him.
Well, it does, Tim, especially, only getting 2 runs in the first 2 ball games. I guess, we're very fortunate to win the first game because of the outstanding outing that that Mike had against Gooden. And, when you don't get any runs, of course, you're not going to win many ball games, and this is what we have to do starting today. When we get people on base, we just have to get that key hit.
And they have done it, and he has sent them, and they lead 4-0, and we go to the top of the 4th inning for Craig Reynolds, Bob Knepper, and Bill Doran. And first pitch hitting, fouls it away to the left side, and that's back in the crowd. Reynolds' first time up today, he walked and was aboard when Bill Doran hit the home run. That split-fingered fastball dropped. There's Dwight Gooden, who pitched the opening game for the Mets. Struggled some, but still kept his ball club right in it. Losing 1-0. 1-2 pitch now to Craig Reynolds. Well, academically struck him out. And now the pitcher Knepper will come to the plate. Well, the hand warmers are a little easier to handle these days. They got that chemical stuff now. You can break it up, stick it in your pocket. You don't have to take that hot thing out there. Darling looking a little better in this inning as he's finding the corners now, and he hits one there for a called strike on Knepper. 1-2. Struck out 2 in a row. He now has 5 in the ball game. And here's the man who took him deep last time, Bill Doran, the second baseman.
Second baseman, Bill Doran.
Here's the home run Bill hit in the 2nd inning off Darling. He's sitting on fastball, got it over the plate. Hit it in the parking lot.
Jerry Kuzman and Tommy Agee to Jerry's left. They will be throwing out the ball on Monday afternoon. Tug McGraw will be throwing out the ball tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow evening.
To the shortstop, Santana. Doran runs well, but Santana guns him down. And so Darling gets the Astros in order in the top of the 4th. And after 3.5 innings of play, the Astros lead the Mets 4-0. The Honorable Robert Wagner, he was the mayor when the plans were laid down and construction started and eventuated into what we have now, Shea Stadium. So he was the mayor of New York City when the whole thing was being put together. And he's here today watching the ball game. And the home folks will send up Kevin Mitchell, Keith Hernandez, and Gary Carter. And Mitchell stings it to center. But Hatcher is right there for the catch. Keith Hernandez now, who bounced out to the first baseman unassisted his first time.
I'll tell you, Keith, the tempo of the crowd has picked up somewhat here in the 4th inning, but the Astros did exactly what they hoped to do.
Take them out of it.
That's right. When you score early, you take the home crowd out of it. The Mets fans kind of shocked, just like the players appeared to have been.
A little bit like Ojeda took the Houston crowd out of it in game number 2. Hernandez up, Carter on deck, and it is confirmed now, at least the word out of the press box is that Mike Scott has now been named to start tomorrow night's ball game for the Houston Astros. Knepper starts Hernandez with a strike on the inside corner. There's a lot of conversation you can build around the start of Scott tomorrow night as Knepper delivers, and Hernandez hits the ball into left center field, drops for a base hit. Cruz blocks it, whips it back in, and holds it. The ball gets loose in the infield, but Knepper picks it up. So Keith Hernandez is aboard. And that is only the second hit in the ball game for the New York Mets. But here comes Gary Carter.
Well, a pretty good curveball by Bob Knepper. And then you see Hatcher running in front of Cruz. But Hernandez has to stay at first base. When you're 4 runs down, you just can't take that chance.
And there's power at the plate in Carter. Has 1 double in the series. And Knepper is outside and low to Carter for ball 1.
This is a situation where Bob Knepper will start turning the ball over on the outside part of the plate to try to induce Carter to hit the ball to the left side. Knepper always up among the leaders in double play.
And Gary just nips it with the end of the bat. That is 1-1. Ball is hit to the right side, and Bass going back. Wind grabs it a little bit, but he plays it well. And the throw back in, a strong throw. But Hernandez hustling gets back to first base. And now Strawberry. So the wind in that instance appears to indeed be coming in a bit because it turned it some.
Hernandez goes all the way to second base, returns in time. That ball appeared to be over the head of Bass, but it did just die. And it did appear that that wind is blowing in from right field now.
Strawberry 0 for 11 against Knepper this season. He's been struck out 6 times, and he struck out the first time. Put this one on the ground, and the throw by Ashby is too late. Beats it out. So Strawberry unable to hit the ball for the base hit, dropped a soft little punt. And Ashby hustling out, just simply couldn't run him down.
The thing to watch for with first base umpire Dutch Rennert is his right hand. He goes to punch him out, and the out sign becomes a safe sign. Right. He had that thumb curled up under. He wanted to punch him out, but then the safe, he did appear to be safe.
Give you an idea, though, of how those long legs can move along for Strawberry. And now Ray Knight. Hernandez up at second base. Far and away the biggest threat the Mets have offered so far today. 4-0 Houston. Mets now have 3 hits off Knepper. bouncing away from Ashby, but he recovers quickly. Runners are held. Knight, first time up today, had a base hit, and then was forced at second base for a third out. Got back in the second inning. Knight swings and misses, and it's 2-2. Tough pitch there.
And the ability of throwing the breaking ball behind in the count can't be emphasized too much. If major league hitters are allowed just to sit on one pitch, they're eventually going to get you. That was a good 2-1 curveball there tonight.
Right side, Bass angles over and makes the catch. And so the Mets are turned away, stranding 2, and after 4-0 Houston. Game 4 of the American League Championship Series tonight at 8 Eastern Time here on ABC. Roger Clemens for the Red Sox and Don Sutton for the California Angels. Angels won an exciting ball game last night. Al Michaels and Jim Palmer out of the West. They had a fun team to work with last night.
They surely did.
Billy Hatcher, Denny Walling, and Glenn Davis are the scheduled hitters for the Astros as they lead 4-0 here at Shea Stadium against Ron Darling. It has been confirmed now, as we said earlier, that Mike Scott is the scheduled pitcher for Game 4 for Houston, and he'll be going against Sid Fernandez, the big left-hander for the Mets. And Al Lanier making his decision after talking to Mike Scott to go ahead and let him go. Hatcher hits a high pop. That wind's got a hold of it a little bit and drifting it back, and great catch, a great play by Knight. He's in the dugout. Astros help him a little bit, and he couldn't hold it as the ball hit his glove just as he went tumbling into the dugout, but a great try by Ray.
The manager of the California Angels, Gene Mock, had this rule changed about 20 years ago. If Ray Knight had come down with that ball and the visiting team helps him, and in the process he drops the ball, the batter's out. Gene Mock knocked it out of Jerry Grote's hands. Jerry, the catcher for the New York Mets at Veterans Stadium, not Veterans Stadium, Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia.
Hopper back to the mound. Darling handles it and throws out Billy Hatcher.
It used to be if you catch a ball and go into the dugout, anything goes. You could actually whack it out of the guy's hand because technically that was their dugout. But Gene Mock had that changed when he dislodged the ball from Jerry Grote, and they changed the rule after that 66 season.
Denny Walling is now up for Houston with 1 out. To the second baseman, Tuffle, 2 down. I remember Earl Batty of the Minnesota Twins. There's Mike Scott, the pitcher for tomorrow night's game. Remember the time at Dodger Stadium when he ran into the dugout trying to make a play and caught himself right in the throat on the top of the dugout. Whoa.
That was in the 65 series against the Minnesota Twins, right? Dodgers and Twins.
Really scary moment. Glenn Davis is up now, and Ron Darling has been able to handle the big bomber of the Astros so far today. He hit him with a pitch in his first at bat in the first inning, and then got him to ground out to third his second time up. It's 2 balls and no strikes to Davis. Yep, beat it on the ground. Santana comes across, can't glove it. Goes over the glove and out into center, and Davis is on.
It's going to be scored as a hit, the first hit for the Astros since the second inning. Santana with the count 3-1, since the hitter will or is more prone to pull the ball in that situation, had to play him over in the hole. Thereby, what would normally be a routine ball takes a short hop and caroms into center field. A base hit for Glenn Davis.
And it brings up Kevin Bass, who was struck out looking and walked. Ball ball is hit sharply toward the corner in right. Strawberry going. Fine catch. Bounces off the wall and comes away with it. So Darryl Strawberry turns in a fine play in the corner in right field to retire the side. The Astros strand Glenn Davis. They have left 4 on, but they lead in the ball game 4-0. Well, one of your great salesmen for this city, Mayor Ed Koch, there holding the banner, rooting for the home team. Sun now is out quite bright and undoubtedly warming things up just a bit. As we go to the bottom of the 5th inning for the Mets, Tim Tuffle, Rafael Santana, and Ron Darling. Darling has now thrown 93 pitches, and Aguilera is up in the pen again for the New York Mets. So if they get something going here, it's possible that you could get a pinch hitter and a pitching change. Let's wait and see, because Darling has settled down. Bob Knepper is out there right now working to Tuffle, and he's got a count of 1-1 as he hits the outside corner. Tuffle had a fielder's choice his first time. There's Rick Aguilera. Played his college baseball at Brigham Young University. Foul ball.
On the banner that Mayor Koch held up, I couldn't help but see that apple on that banner, and the wager between the 2 governors is rather interesting this year. Governor Mario Cuomo will wager apples and cheese, and Governor Mark White, governor of Texas, will wager a barbecue. Now to up that wager, this is big time, you know. That's not a big wager, is it, Keith?
Texas barbecue's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Depends on where they pick the apples. Popped up. And the shortstop Reynolds will handle it. And you've got 1 down. New York apples, though, when they're picked fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Crisp. Marvelous. But Texas barbecue is legendary.
Shortstop, Rafael Santana.
Right now they have 3 hits off Bob Knepper, and they trail in the ball game 4-0. Santana at the plate. Lee Mazzilli is out swinging a bat now, and apparently is going to bat for the pitcher Darling. And Knepper starts Santana with a curveball strike. Pops him up. Ashby coming back, but the wind blows it away, and it goes into the crowd. Walling knocked it down at third, throws high, but Davis handles it and comes down on the back for out number 2.
Your attention, please.
Denny Walling almost handcuffed by that shot. He kept it in the territory, and with a good long strong throw got him.
Yeah, when a ball's hit this sharply, you have the luxury of maybe booting a ball if you get back to it in a hurry. But Walling does throw it high, but Glenn Davis saves the error.
It was a rainbow. Lee Mazzilli making his 2nd appearance in the series as a pinch hitter. Struck out down in Houston, but he nails this one up the middle for a base hit. And we will have a new pitcher for the Mets in the top of the 6th inning. Aguilera has been warming up now for some time, and the Mets now bring up Mookie Wilson, the top of the order against Knepper. 2 out, and Mazzilli on first. Wilson last time up hit the ball sharply, but Jose Cruz had him played well and made the moving catch. Foul ball. Strike 1. Ashby knocks it down. Mazzilli takes off. The throw. He's in there. Ball rolled about 6 feet, 8 feet behind Ashby. Mazzilli sensing opportunity, took off, and he made it.
Alan Ashby couldn't find this ball. Watch. The little hesitation right there allowed Mazzilli to alertly go to second base. A good base running play by Lee Mazzilli.
Now Wilson has a chance to deliver Mazzilli from second base with 2 out. That's a pass ball charged to Ashby. Second baseman Doran flags it down. Sounded like Mookie broke his bat and didn't have a whole lot on it. So the side's retired. The Mets are turned away. 4-0 Houston. Back after this word from your local stations.
Hitting home runs is the fun part of my job. Catching is the tough part, the sweaty part. But you won't catch me showering with deodorant soap. I made a break from all that. A clean break with Ivory. Look, that's basic, natural, honest soap. It's not like soaps that cover you with smelly perfumes or deodorants. What's that got to do with clean? Ivory's clean is an honest clean. You can smell it, you can feel it.
Make a clean break, because you just can't beat Ivory's Honest Clean.
Even when you got a special date.
Right-hander Rick Aguilera comes on now in relief of Ron Darling in the top of the 6th inning. As you see from this graphic, he was effective after the All-Star break with an ERA earned run average, let's make it plain English, 2.76, which is pretty strong with an 8-4 record. He became a starter back in July in St. Louis, and he stayed in the rotation for the rest of the year.
He started off very badly this year, as you see Wally Backman and tomorrow evening's pitcher Sid Fernandez in the foreground of your picture. Rick Aguilera 0-3 in his first 3 decisions. Then he was sent to the bullpen for about 8 appearances, and turned out he had the same record that he had last year, 10-7. The home run ball really jumped up and bit him early. Matter of fact, his first 15 2/3 innings this year, he allowed 8 home runs, but only 15 over the next 125 innings.
That's a bunch, isn't it? Get a crick in your neck watching that minute go out. Jose Cruz comes up to face him. And Alan Ashby next, and then Craig Reynolds. He'll be pitching to 3 successive left-handers. 3 in a row. And Cruz takes it low and away. What is the repertoire of Mr. Senor Aguilera?
Fastball, a little tailing fastball, a curveball for his strikeout pitch, and a slider. That's the fastball there that will tail back over the plate on a left-handed hitter.
Jose Cruz, 39 years of age. One of the quality players in Major League Baseball. 3 balls and 1 strike now. And walked him.
Houston.
CFA college football follows our baseball game. Some scores coming in now. Notre Dame over Pittsburgh 3-0 in the second quarter, and Penn State has come bouncing back now to lead Cincinnati, while Auburn is pounding away on Vanderbilt, and the Tigers are undefeated. And there's a bit of a surprise. North Carolina State had been ranked in the top 20, but Georgia Tech's jumped all over them. Ashby fouls it away. Out of play. Coming up next, we'll have Miami at West Virginia, the top-rated Hurricanes, or Oklahoma, Texas, depending on what kind of part of the country you're going to be watching today. Texas Oklahoma is going to be interesting because there's so many things swirling around that. When the Texans angry that everybody thinks Oklahoma's going to run them out of town. The story about Fred Akers being in trouble with his job. That's a bouncing ball tonight at third. Goes to second. 1 back to first. Double play. Hernandez had the ball in front of him and bouncing about 3 feet from him and handled it as if it had been right on the numbers. So the Mets turned the DP.
The next batter, shortstop Craig Reynolds.
Hernandez at first base with that glove is just about as good as anybody.
Yep. He saved so many errors of the Mets infielders. He just says, just get it over there any way you can. And I'll take care of it. He's very confident as a fielder. Interesting article about Keith in this week's Sports Illustrated, chronicling his life growing up in San Francisco.
Batter is the shortstop Craig Reynolds, who has walked and scored and struck out swinging.
Not only did Keith's father John used to throw to him a lot, have Keith take a lot of batting practice, but he just hit him one ground ball after the other.
Up the middle, sinking liner drops in front of Mookie Wilson. And Reynolds is on with base hit number 7 for Houston.
Now batting, pitcher Bob Knepper.
So with Reynolds on first, here comes Bob Knepper. Perhaps to go back to a point you made earlier, Tim, about Wilson playing deep in center.
Well, on a ball hit that, that has that much hang time, even though the ball was hit fairly well, I guess with 2 out and nobody on, you are inclined to play a little deeper. But I think the general point of the Met outfield playing too deep is certainly taken well. Mookie prefers to come in on everything. Len Dykstra plays very deep in center field. And Kevin Mitchell is inclined to play deep and left.
Knepper hits it high into the air and well, and it's Wilson going back to the track to haul it down. So Bob Knepper, who has a couple of doubles and a triple this season, rode that one well. Hit it about 370-odd feet. Houston now leads it 4-0 in the 6th. Today, the anniversary of that 1969 World Series. The Mets, born in '62, went for the Big Apple in 1969, and it was Casey Stengel who really planted the idea of the amazing Mets.
Amazing. Amazing.
Gil Hodges, of course, there as they fill the streets with confetti in saluting one of the great stories in the annals of sport. And they've got the same kind of an idea here in 1986 as the Mets and the Astros are in the National League Championship Series. All even as we play Game 3 at Shea Stadium. The Mets, trailing by a score of 4-0, will come up in the 6th inning with Kevin Mitchell, Keith Hernandez, and Gary Carter. Bob Knepper pitching for Houston, and he gets a strike call on Mitchell. Snaps off inside, ball 1.
I think it's interesting to note that the Houston Astros of '86 are more like the 1969 Mets than the 1986 Mets are like the 1969 Mets. I mean, here's a team that a lot of people pick to finish 5th or 6th, possibly lose 100 games. They're riding the same crest that the Mets rode back in 1969. Hal Lanier hopes for the same results.
High chop. Walling can't get it over his head. And Mitchell takes a big turn at first and then holds on as Cruz hustled the ball back in. And so the Mets now, first time in the ball game, have the leadoff man aboard.
The one thing that stops base runners is an outfielder getting to the ball in a hurry. Watch this high chopper over the head of Walling, and Jose Cruz getting to the ball in a hurry to throw to second to hold Mitchell to a single.
Keith Hernandez with Carter now to the on-deck circle. Well, they've got the number 2 man in the order on the base. That starts the wheel spinning. Knepper is high and tight to Hernandez for ball 1.
That is also the first time this afternoon that the Mets have had their leadoff runner on. would think he'll work Hernandez inside. The base hit he got on the curveball away his last time up, and that's how left-handed pitchers try to work Hernandez. Right-handers too, for that matter.
Charlie Kerfeld up quickly in the Houston bullpen. Al Lanier with that 4-0 lead, quick to respond as Knepper gets in a bit of trouble here early on in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kerfeld is the setup man for Dave Smith, and the pitch is high and tight to Hernandez. And Les Moss, the pitching coach for the Houston Astros, is on his way to the mound. Charlie Kerfeld, a big, bulky right-hander from Carson City, Nevada, can heat up in a hurry, and he's got bulldog in him. Les Moss, who has had his say now, the former catcher, trots back to the dugout.
Usually a manager will want his pitching coach to kind of walk out there, then walk back to give the bullpenners a chance to get ready. But Les, he's in a full gait going out there and coming back.
He doesn't know any other. That's high. Ball 3. Three balls and no strikes to Hernandez. Mitchell, the leadoff man, aboard. Banged a bouncer over the head of Denny Walling at third for a single. There's a strike. Center fielder Hatcher shading toward left center for Hernandez, leaving Keith some room in right center, and he, of course, gets around on it. He's got a lot of room down the line. Cold day, pitchers being allowed by the umpires to blow on the hand. 3-1 pitch coming. Looper out into short center field. Hatcher can't get to it, or drops for a base hit. Nobody out. Bottom of the 6th. Mitchell at second. Hernandez at first for Carter.
Billy Hatcher broke back on that ball, and that cost Bob Knepper an out. He took that one step back with his left foot, and by the time he recovered, the ball dropped in front of him.
Kerfeld is throwing in the Houston bullpen, and Hal Lanier just turned to Les Moss and said, check and see how hot he is. Got to look out here. There's power at the plate. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch.
One of the reasons Knepper is allowed to stay in the game now is because Strawberry's on deck, and Strawberry, not Carter, represents a tying run. You'd much rather have the left-hander face Strawberry than a right-hander.
Carter had 24 home runs on the season. That's low. Statistics amplifying what Tim just said about Strawberry. He's 3 for 22 lifetime against Knepper. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
He's trying for the double play ball. We said that Knepper, one of the top pitchers in the National League, in throwing the double play ball. Gary Carter does not run well, and he's missed with 2 of 3 sinkers on the outside. He's going back out there. You saw Ashby.
On the corner, Jeff Calhoun now is up in the Houston pen, a left-hander, joining Kerfeld. Carter out shaking his head over the call. It's even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Houston leading 4-0. And the Mets are cooking right now. Mitchell at second, Hernandez at first, back-to-back singles. Bouncer toward the shortstop. Underneath the glove of Reynolds. Mitchell coming around third. He will score. A timid swing by Gary Carter, but the ball, as Reynolds came in, did not come up for him.
Watch the ball stay down. This goes under the glove of Craig Reynolds. Craig really had a lot of time. His play was to first base. Mitchell scores easily after a stumble right there. So the Mets are on the board.
It's an error against Reynolds, and Strawberry is up facing Knepper. It is now a 4-1 ball game. Strawberry hits it high in the air to right. Bass to the wall. It's gone. The score is tied. Strawberry, victim more often than not against Knepper in his career. In a high fly ball. Out of here. And that error by Reynolds at shortstop haunts the Astros.
Well, you think about how this inning was set up for Strawberry. A high chopper over third, a blooping single in the center, and the error by Craig Reynolds, and a new way to shake hands.
And Ray Knight is at the plate. To Walling. And he throws him out. That's the first out of the inning. 4 runs across for the Mets.
You know, the interesting thing about this whole scenario in this inning, obviously Hal Lanier, by leaving Knepper in, he wanted him to pitch to Carter. He actually gets Carter on the feeble ground ball to short, but Strawberry, the guy left him in for, hits the home run. Unbelievable.
Tuffle fouls it away for strike 1. Well, you just never know. I don't care if you've never had a hit. As long as you're up there with a bat in your hand, you're a threat.
Strawberry 3 for 22 before that home run. He did have 1 lifetime homer against Knepper.
1 ball and 1 strike to Tuffle. Santana is now on deck. The Mets get 4 to tie in the bottom of the 6th inning. That ball is hit hard to right. Bass going back. Wind turns it. Whoa, he makes a fine catch.
Did Kevin Bass ever make a fine catch? Talk about playing shallow the other way. The outfielders do go back very, very well. Better than they think. Well, that's a fine play by Kevin Bass.
And Santana is at the plate. 2 down now. One and one. Roger McDowell is now up in the New York bullpen, and he's throwing with purpose. That ball is hit well to left, but Cruz has an angle on it, and Jose makes the catch for the 3rd out. But it's a big one for the Mets as they come up with 4, and after 6 it is 4-4.
Lenny was telling me on the bench that I was going to have to hit a home run to get us back in this ball game. He was struggling a little bit that inning. He wanted to get ahead in the count. He was going to get ahead in the count. He was going to throw me breaking balls after that, so I was looking for fastball.
High fly ball, hit deep to right field, way back, maybe, going, gone, home run!
With one sudden swing, the Mets had drawn even.
A 3-run home run from an unlikely source. And bingo, you're even at 4.
Yeah, I guess the source was likely in that it was Strawberry, but the error was the thing that was not likely. Craig Reynolds making the error that really opened up the inning, but the one hit, the high chopper over the glove of Denny Walling, and then the little looper into center field, and then the big bombers came up. Fastball on the inside part of the plate, but not for long.
It was a high towering thing, which again, in the face of the wind, the capricious wind apparently was not blowing in from right in this particular instance, and it was out with plenty to spare. And so Darryl Strawberry takes one swing and does a lot to get the booze off his back, because he was hooted around here quite a bit during this past season and didn't like it.
As a matter of fact, he went 0 for the month of August in this ballpark. 0 for 45 in this ballpark in August. And they were coming down pretty hard on him.
Bill Doran, top of the order, will lead it off for Houston. Doran has a home run in the ball game, but that was off Ron Darling. Rick Aguilera is out there now with a chance to win this ball game. Two balls and no strikes to Doran, and right out of the blocks here, having gotten even, Aguilera starts to fall behind the leadoff hitter.
And I do not think that Davy Johnson will stay with Aguilera too long. He is a middle reliever and a starter, and in this situation, it being the 7th inning, I think Johnson will be more inclined to get McDowell or Orozco back up should the first runner or the first batter in Doran get on.
McDowell has sat down. He's no longer throwing in the bullpen. Time for a moment as Mitchell came in to ask for sunglasses now, as the angle of the sun has changed some in left field. And that pitch is up, and it's 3 balls and no strikes to Doran.
Aguilera says, where was that pitch? And Frank Pulley said it was high.
He walks Bill Doran on 4 pitches.
Now batting, center fielder Billy.
Can it be that McDowell is ready already?
Well, he was throwing in the 6th inning, and the pitcher is leading off the bottom of the 7th inning for the Mets. So if Davy Johnson does make a switch for a pitcher in this inning, it'll probably be a double switch. But right now, nobody is up for the Mets.
And Billy Hatcher's at the plate with a pair of singles in today's ball game. Puts it on the ground. Third baseman Knight comes in, doesn't get a handle, throws it away. Ball goes skittering down the right field line. Strawberry retrieves, and Doran, the lead runner, moves all the way to third.
Well, it'll probably be a hit and an error. I'm a little surprised that Ray Knight wasn't more shallow for Billy Hatcher, because the bunt was in order. Of course, he is shallow right there. He was ready. He does get to the ball in a hurry, but when he comes up with the ball, he can't find the handle immediately, and then the low throw allows Hatcher to get a base hit, and the error sending Doran to third base.
Denny Walling at the plate, hits it sharply. Second baseman Tuffle goes to Santana, back to first. Safe at first base, so the run scored. And the Astros go back into the lead, 5-4.
Well, why in the world Tim Tuffle looked at home first? That's why this play was close. He appeared to be out at first, but Tuffle looked at home first. And when infielders are in double play situations, you're back to get the double play. He appeared to be out, but that really has nothing to do with it. Tim Tuffle fielding the ball and looking home first made what should have been a routine double play into a fielder's choice.
Davy Johnson came out to protest briefly on the call at first base, but he's gone quickly back to the dugout. And here's Glenn Davis. 1 out now, and the pitch is low.
He appeared to be out at first base, but it's a routine double play if Tuffle doesn't look home first. And that is one reason that an umpire won't give you a close call like that if you don't execute properly.
Pitch is a called strike to Davis, make it 1-1. Hatcher is give it a sacrifice, and Doran moving to third on the error by Knight on his throw, and Doran scoring from third on the fielder's choice by Walling as the Mets tried to turn the double play and just missed at first. Strike ball. And Davis is gone. Boy, they've handled him pretty well. He did get that little bunker up the middle, but otherwise they've handled him well today. 2 down. Kevin Bass struck out looking, walked, fly ball to right. Up the alley, run down by Mookie Wilson. But the Astros battle back in the middle of the 7th. They lead 5-4. Back after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
IBM presents You Make the Call. A manager is forced to play 2 pitchers at the same time. He plans to use one in the outfield while the other pitches, rotating the 2 when the situation calls for it. Can he do this? You make the call. There is nothing in the rule book that prevents a manager from rotating his pitchers, as long as each pitcher faces at least one batter. If you said so, then you made the right call.
We come back to Shea Stadium with the Houston Astros leading the New York Mets 5-4. And in the pitcher spot now, a pinch hitter, Lynn Dykstra, 3 for 8 in the first 2 games of the series. Dykstra as a pinch hitter, 4 for 14 on the year. Bob Knepper stays out on the mound for Houston, but the Houston pen is busy. Calhoun and Kerfeld throwing, and the pitch by Knepper to Dykstra is inside. Orozco is up in the New York pen now, and it's a strike to Dykstra to make it 1-1. Mookie Wilson on deck, and then Kevin Mitchell. Foul right side. Two balls and 2 strikes on Dykstra. And that pitch is high and inside. So Lenny has hung in and worked to a full count.
And now Bob Knepper has to throw Dykstra a fastball. It's always nicer as a hitter when you know what's coming, and now it's a fastball, and see by that look on Dykstra and Lanier's face.
And it's fouled away. 3-2 count on Lenny Dykstra. Into that tight crouch. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. The double play that got away.
We were talking about, watch the hesitation by Tim Teufel. The ball hit sharply by Denny Walling. Now watch Teufel look at home. See, he's in double play depth. There's really nothing to look home for. Now watch, he wants to go home, and that delay cost the double play. The Astros didn't score any more runs, so it's a moot point, I suppose, but important that when you're in a double play depth, you've got to think about the double play and not the runner at home.
Mookie Wilson on the second pitch hits it sharply foul to the right side, and your count is 1-1 on Mookie. Kevin Mitchell, I'm sorry. That is Mookie Wilson. Kevin Mitchell, I was looking out into the bullpen as Roscoe warms up, and as Houston has now 2 men in their pen. If he should decide, that is Hal Lanier, as Wilson hits a high pop on the right side for Davis, and he makes the catch just in foul ground for the second out. It's not beyond the pale that for a particular batter he could bring Calhoun for the 1 man.
A guy like Keith Hernandez, and that's probably why Calhoun is up right now. Of course, you got a left-handed pitcher out there. I guess Calhoun probably would be relegated after Kerfeld to get one man maybe in the 9th inning or something like that.
Mitchell, right-handed batter at the plate now. Kevin with a single and has scored a run. There's Jeff. And Mitchell fouls it away. A little bleeder to the right side. Doran can't get it. Bass has no chance at it. And Mitchell is aboard. A handle hit looped over the second baseman's head. And Keith Hernandez coming to the plate. So to get the feeling that somebody at Hal Lanier is going to pop out of that dugout, but he has not. Hernandez on the day has bounced out to the first baseman and singled twice and scored one of the 4 New York runs. And Knepper gets a strike. If Hernandez does get aboard here, and Carter coming up, I'll be surprised if we don't see Kerfeld.
You bet your house on it.
Hit to center field. Hatcher drifts back, makes the catch, and Knepper gets out of the inning, getting a very dangerous man on a fly ball to center. And after 7, Astros 5-4. The skyline of Manhattan, the attention of the big city, a great portion of it anyway, focused right out here on Shea Stadium. And tonight, Game 4 of the American League Championship Series, as Roger Clemens will go for the Red Sox and Don Sutton for the California Angels. Angels winning last night to go on top 2-1. Now we've got some changes for the New York Mets as Jesse Orosco comes in relief. Ron Darling started. Aguilera succeeded him in the 6th. Orosco's on in the 8th. Lenny Dykstra goes into center field, and Mookie Wilson moves over to left field, and Kevin Mitchell leaves the lineup.
Jesse 8-6 on the year. He pitched a perfect inning, as Keith said earlier, at the Astrodome, striking out 1. And he has a 2.33 ERA with 21 saves, but the ERA for a short reliever is sometimes much misunderstood, because a lot of times if you give up runs with runners on base, it's somebody else's.
Yeah,
there ought to be really a different department for short relievers ERAs.
Orosco facing left-hander Jose Cruz, and he hits the outside corner. He pitched an inning in the opening game in relief of Dwight Gooden and was totally effective. Pitch is inside. Alan Ashby, the Houston catcher, will switch over and hit right-handed. And we may well see Dickie Thon come up for Craig Reynolds. You could see that.
For 2 reasons. For defense, as he went in the other night, and for offense.
Orosco now goes to 2 balls and a strike to Cruz. Rather weak swing by Jose, a sweep at it, if you will. Davey Lopes is the man holding the bat right now, so you could see Lopes as a pinch hitter as well. You might see Thon and Lopes both if somebody gets on. Cruz out on a pitch on the outside corner, called strike 3.
Well, this is just a nasty fastball thrown by Jesse Orosco. Notice how he ducked down there, and that's to get the front side of the left-hander to leave, and then he throws it on the outside corner.
And Alan Ashby turns around and hits right-handed. Pins it in for a strike. Davey Lopes is out in the on-deck circle. and will hit apparently for Craig Reynolds. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ashby. To the shortstop, Santana. 2 down.
For the Astros.
All right, Dickie Thon has come out now and is also standing at the on-deck circle, but it is Davey Lopes who will be hitting for the shortstop, Craig Reynolds. But Dickie Thon will surely go in at the shortstop position for the glove.
This is a very interesting thing right here. I mean, if you pinch hit with Thon, then of course he stays in the ball game, but if he makes an out, the pitcher leads off the 9th inning. By pinch hitting Lopes and then putting Thon into the lineup, Hal Lanier will insert the pitcher in the 8-hole to make him the 9th hitter in the 9th inning. Very interesting and shrewd move by Hal Lanier.
Davey Lopes, of course, so long with the Dodgers at second base, then Oakland, then Chicago, and now to Houston. Ray Knight gets a good bounce at third and throws him out. So Orozco comes in and gets Houston in order. And it's 5-4 in the middle of the 8th inning.
Please report to the first game.
What are you laughing at? 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. You had a great World Series. What are you laughing at? No, I just read that in the notes here. 4 hits in 1 game. He hits, too. Oh! Wow! Whoa! What a play! That's a Phil Lee around. That's one of those plays that only the coach and Lewis. Oh, boy. I don't know, miracle. Fans could see that. You had look at Scherger. He's amazed it could happen also. Look at Bench. Caught it behind his back. Grant Jackson followed through and just said, here's my glove, and there was the ball.
Charlie Kerfeld, big right-hander. In relief now of Bob Knepper in the bottom of the 8th inning. Gary Carter comes out to face Kerfeld. Charlie was in 61 ball games as a reliever this season with a record of 11-2, and you saw there made a brief appearance in the championship series. He brings heat to the mound.
In all forms. He is a zany character, I'll tell you. Throws awfully hard.
Strike 1 to Carter. Bounced. Late. Darryl Strawberry is on deck, and then Ray Knight.
Charlie Kerfeld made his major league debut as a starter in this ballpark in the middle of June of last year.
Slider is outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Houston's closer, or door slammer, or call him what you want, Dave Smith, is now up in the bullpen. Back to the mound. Behind the back grab by Kerfeld, and he throws out Carter.
Well, you got to love it. That's all there is to it. I mean, I don't either, and neither does he. But watch him catch it.
It's part of the act.
I'm telling you, he catches it. Now watch what he does to Carter. Watch. She's going to point to him. Just for a little added emphasis. A little point there, Gary. I'm telling you, I don't believe it. I mean, if he doesn't catch that ball, conceivably that ball could go into center field for a base hit.
Either that or it's a broken tailbone. Darryl Strawberry is at the plate. And the first pitch bounces to him. 1 out. Oh, Charlie, he'll make his mark before he's done.
The Jetsons have arrived.
Pitch is high for ball 2. It was Strawberry with that big 3-run home run that got the Mets even in the bottom of the 6th inning. There's a strike. Strike 2. Foul ball, right side. Bill Robinson flags it down. First base coach Kerfeld does not give you much time to take a breath.
No, he
right
doesn't.
at you.
Let me have the ball. I want to throw it.
Three and two on Strawberry. Struck him out.
Tell you, Keith, I never liked to hit against pitchers where I couldn't see their eyes. It reminds me of Bob Field back in that old Forbes Field. As you see, this is some gas right here. High fastball, and Strawberry swings and misses. Remember, Bob Field used to go behind the mound and clean his glasses, and then throw about 110 miles an hour. I'm telling you.
Ray Knight fouls it off, and it just missed Tim McCarver. Ball is hit in the air to right. Kevin Bass has some room on it and makes the catch for the third out. So Kerfeld does his thing, and the Mets go down in order as we move on to the top of the ninth inning. The Astros leading 5-4. Dickie Thon, the shortstop, will come up now and hit. Hitting in the number 9 position. Wally Backman is now playing second base defensively for the New York Mets. And Jesse Orozco comes with a breaking pitch on the outside. Not much of a break. Is that a hard slider?
Hard slider and fastball, a tailing fastball, as you saw Wally Backman, who's inserted.
To the shortstop, Santana. Thon runs pretty well, but Raphael gets him. So Thon hitting in the 9th position. We go back to the top of the order now for Bill Doran and Billy Hatcher. A 5-4 ball game in the top of the 9th inning.
That's another small managerial move, but a good one. Since Tuffle is leading off the bottom of the 9th inning, why not insert Backman since the left-hander's already out of the game? A good move by Davey Johnson. Pick up a little defense in the top of the 9th also, if needed.
Dave Smith is no longer active in the Houston bullpen. Sharply hit to center field. Base hit for Doran. He has homered, walked, and now singled.
Center fielder, Billy Hatcher.
Scheduled to come up for New York, bottom third of the order. Tuffle is already out of the ball game. Santana's spot, and then the pitcher's spot. And here are the people on the Mets bench available to manager Davey Johnson. 24-man roster. Billy Hatcher with Bill Doran on first base.
I'll tell you, Keith, it amazes me, speaking of that 24-man roster, it amazes me that the major league club owners have maintained that 24-man roster throughout the 1986 season. I thought it'd go back to 25 after about a month, and that seemed to be the general feeling of most everyone.
Ball one to Hatcher. Walling on deck. Roger McDowell is back up in the New York bullpen. Got to have somebody ready in case somebody can manifest some productivity in the bottom of the 9th inning and produce at least a tie.
Yeah, McDowell is up for Glenn Davis right now. Walling is on deck, but Davis in the hole. Should he hit this inning, don't be surprised if McDowell's in there.
2 balls and no strikes to Hatcher. On the corner. 2-1. Remember, the American League Championship Series goes tonight, 8 Eastern time here on ABC. That's game 4 of the American League Series between the Red Sox and the Angels.
And Roger Clemens coming back with only 3 days rest. Mike Scott tomorrow night coming back. under the same circumstances.
Hatcher swings and misses, and they've got Doran hung up. Got him caught, and Hernandez tags him out. So Hatcher swinging and missing, and Doran got caught between first and second.
Right, it's a hit and run, and it's the responsibility of the hitter to put the ball in play. The ball was in the dirt, and Doran's an easy out. He gives Keith Hernandez a little courtesy shove after Hernandez tags him out. Little shoulder there. That will be logged by Hernandez because Bill Doran, the second baseman, covers second on a lot of double play attempts.
2 down, and Hatcher now with a 2-2 count. And Orozco changes speed, misses outside to go full count. Hatcher walks. Well, in the second ball game in Houston, you had Bass run into an out, and you had Hatcher get caught in a fly ball deep from the outfield.
Well, of course, you know, on that double play ball, or beg your pardon, on the hit and run play, all a manager can do is try to get a hitter a good pitch to swing at. And Hal Lanier tried to do that, but unfortunately the ball was in the dirt and Hatcher had to go for it, and Doran was a dead duck.
Denny Wally takes ball 1 from Orozco. Check swing foul. Down the third base side. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Hal Lanier talking to his catcher. As you saw in that instance many times, Hal Lanier in this instance, however, talking to the coach, who in turn is talking to the hitter. Saw the other night as Walling swings and misses, constant communication between Ashby and Lanier when they were in a defensive posture.
I would be very, excuse me, Keith, I would be very surprised also that Lanier wasn't flashing a steal sign to Billy Hatcher at first base. It's a 1-2 count, 2 outs, left-handed hitter up there. Want to try to steal another run.
Hatcher goes. Pitch is swung on and fouled away, coming back out of play. Hatcher goes. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Side retired. So it's 5-4 going to the bottom of the 9th inning. Back after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
When the July 4th Statue of Liberty celebration lit up New York, the Mets kept in tune with the festivities. On the night of July 3rd, the Mets staged a remarkable comeback against the Houston Astros. Trailing by 2 runs in the bottom of the 10th, Darryl Strawberry came up with 1 runner on.
Well hit, way back, deep center field. Darryl Strawberry has done it again. A tremendous home run to center field. It's tied 5-5.
But the Mets didn't stop there, as Ray Knight rebounded from an awful 4-strikeout night to win the game with 1 swing.
This ball is out of here, and this ball game is over, and I don't believe it. Ray Knight hits a game-winning home run, and the Mets have won 7 in a row. They're spreading the news that they are right now the dominant team in this game, in either league.
The crowd up on their feet, shouting to the heavens as Wally Backman, Danny Heap, and Lenny Dykstra will come to the plate for the Mets. Houston leads it 5-4. Backman up for the first time in the ball game. left-handed hitters, and pitching now for Houston, the closer, Dave Smith. And the first pitch is ball one. Knepper started, Kerfield an inning. Now it's Dave Smith, the big man in the bullpen for the Astros.
33 saves on the year. That's why he's in there now.
1-1. Houston trying to protect the 5-4 lead and go ahead in the series 2-1. Ball is punted by Backman. Roll toward the first baseman, and Backman goes out to the extreme portion of the baseline, and now Hal Lanier is going to scream about it as to whether or not he left.
They're going to say that he went out of the baselines to avoid the tag. That's Lanier's argument right now. Now watch Wally Backman. Now obviously you can do this on a single to the outfield, but it's questionable as to whether you can do it to avoid a tag. You must be able to touch the bag. Now did Backman circle and come back to touch the bag, or when he made the circle, was he in a position to touch the bag? It was Dutch Rennert's position that he was always in a position to touch the bag, and now they're going to get some help. Frank Pulley.
Frank Pulley, the plate umpire. It was Dutch Rennert's call, and he called him safe.
I think Lanier is asking Pulley to help Rennert out because Rennert was preoccupied with the tag of first base, and maybe Pulley may have had a better view of whether Backman went out of the baselines to avoid the tag or not.
Well, he clearly left the baseline.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that on a single. You see guys sweep around in the whole bit. But if you're doing it to avoid a tag, then it's another thing. So that's why those two lines are right there. Now, he did go outside the line there, but he was able to come back and touch first base. And that's what the umpires have concluded.
And so it is a bunt single for the leadoff man, Wally Backman, and here is Heap. Matty Heap, 9 pinch hits in 30 at-bats this season. Former Astro. And Backman with good foot speed on first base, representing the tying run. Heap against Smith, though, has not been productive this year. But it's a different season right now, isn't it?
It certainly is.
The bunt is fouled away. Denny Walling got a late start at third, as it seemed obvious that Heap would try to put it down in his way.
Well, this is a bit strange because Danny Heap has no sacrifices on the year. The only thing that I would imagine is running through Davey Johnson's mind, if he does get 2 strikes on him, then Heap's a better hitter than Santana.
Backman off first, representing the tying run. 5-4 ball game in the bottom of the 9th inning. 1 strike to Heap, and that pitch is inside, and it gets off the glove of Alan Ashby and rolls to the backstop. And Backman goes to second, and now it's advantage Johnson.
That fastball just clearly gets away from Ashby. It should be a pass ball. A lot of times when the hitter puts the bat up in front of the catcher's face, he loses the sight of the ball. It blocks his vision. It is a pass ball on Alan Ashby. Now I wonder if Heap will be bunting.
1-1 count on him. Walling stays on the edge of the grass at third. And the pitch is eye high. 2 balls and a strike. Infield has crept in. has to do is get the ball to the right side.
Yeah, and things change. You know, no pitch is ever the same. You got a 3-1 count now. You want a pitch you can hammer. That was Danny Heap's initial intent in swinging, just get Backman to third base. But now he's ahead in the count. Now he wants to hammer. He wants to drive him in, not over.
Pops it up, out of play, coming back into the crowd. And it's 3-2.
At Dave Smith in that fork ball, he has been throwing that pitch. That's his bread and butter pitch. And he got it over on the 3-1 count. And if you're Danny Heap, you ought to look for it again, because that's what you'll get.
To Heap. Fly ball into medium depth center field. Backman comes halfway down and now goes back to second as Hatcher makes the catch, 1 out. So now Dave Smith will pitch to Lenny Dykstra.
Gene Mock once told me that you can score a lot of runs with the types of outs you make. That was not a good type of out to make, because Backman's still at second base. No runner advanced.
With Dykstra up, Mookie Wilson now to the on-deck circle and 1 out. 5-4, Houston lead.
I'd say no types of outs are nice to make, but if you do make them, you want to at least advance the runner, especially in this situation.
Dykstra fouls it back, strike 1. Walling on the grass at third. Davis just off the grass at first. Everybody's on the dirt
or the edge of their seats.
Hit to right. Bass going back. Going back. It's gone. Dykstra, and the Mets beat the Astros in the bottom of the 9th inning, 6-5, and take a 2-1 lead in the National League Championship Series. Dave Smith, the ace of the bullpen for Houston, throws a fork ball, and Lenny Dykstra hit it out as the Mets win 6-5.